Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could, look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
So we struggle in the workplace with certain people that lack professionalism. Now, with that being said, what is being professional? What does it mean to be a professional? What is the definition of professionalism? Think about that for a second. How many people really have that defined? So again, I would encourage you to use a define and coach approach. Sit down with a person or a team, or maybe a group that are struggling with professionalism from your interpretation, and define it. And say, you know what? We're going to do kind of an interesting activity. I want us to define professionalism so we don't make assumptions. And what is professionalism with each other, with our customers, whatever the case might be. But professionalism is a pretty big topic. It's a lot like communication. So when we work with clients, we hear it all the time. We'll have people say, well, it comes down to communication. And I'll say, oh, well, what do you mean by communication? Well, everything. So we're going to coach everybody on everything to do with communication. We will not be back in about 17 years. And usually people start laughing. And the same thing holds true for professionalism. Think about it. Is it the way you dress, the way you look at people? Is it what you say? Is it the way you listen? Have you defined it at your company? Have you defined it on your team? So here's the other angle you can look at. When was the last time somebody came into your office and said, boss, I got to tell you, I am obnoxious. I dress terribly. I lack professionalism. I need your coaching. Now, I bet you're probably laughing or chuckling, but think about that. People aren't going to offer themselves up because most people don't view themselves as unprofessional. So you have to have a line drawn in the sand. You have to have a set of expectations. You cannot inspect what you don't expect. So the way you do that is a 3-step approach. 1, get your group together and define professionalism. Professionalism is, and everybody list out 3 to 4 sentences that represent what they think professionalism is. You bring them together, you put it up on a whiteboard, and you ultimately come to a decision of, this is our definition of professionalism. Number 2, you ask them to list 3 to 4 actions that everybody in the team must take, must exhibit to support that definition. That's the behavioral change. Here's the cool part. When we are out of discord of being professional, so if someone is not representing professionalism, what's a phrase or a statement we can use with each other to approach one another without judgment or prejudice, where we will not be defensive? So essentially, how can we as teammates address one another when we're observing us or one another being out of our definition of professionalism? That's called a rule of engagement. And what that does, it equals the playing field. So don't leave professionalism to this ambiguous, nebulous interpretation, because it'll be a moving definition in people's minds. Once you establish the definition, once you establish the actions, create the rule of engagement so the peers, the teammates can coach one another and can communicate to one another based on professionalism. Now, the biggest thing that you can do as a coach is that when someone is exhibiting professionalism, is to make sure when they're exhibiting it, is to call them out for the positive things. When someone dresses well, when somebody interacts and listens well, and really supports that definition, whatever that might be, You cannot criticize. You cannot give constructive feedback to things that you don't also acknowledge that are positive. Here's why. The Gallup organization reports people will engage 8 times more when we lead with positive feedback than constructive feedback. The progress principle, Teresa Amabel's study at Harvard University. People are at their most motivated state 76% of the time when they're progressing or improving. So if we don't acknowledge that they're improving their professionalism, and we only bring it up when they're unprofessional, that has a psychological impact on your people. So remember, define it, list out the actions that support, create a rule of engagement, and last, when they exhibit it, nurture it, support it, hug it, kiss it, acknowledge it, praise it, and you will start to increase professional behavior. Good luck.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.